Okay, so I'm going to teach you all this using an example first and explain what I'm doing. And then after I explain, we can make notes on it. So I'm going to go with an example of multiplying two matrices. Here I'm going to use something like a matrix like 1, 4, 3, 2. I'm just making up some numbers here. And I'm going to multiply it, but I'm not writing the multiply sign. I'm just going to write the brackets next to it here. I'm going to multiply it to, say, another matrix like 5, and I'm going to use a negative number like minus 2. Okay, so now we have a to multiply two matrix. You realize this here is not like what we were doing before, which was called scalar multiplication. You all hearing me, right? You all hearing me and seeing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this is the technique that I use. First thing I do is I check for compatibility. Imagine if you're on some kind of dating, you go and you put your name and your picture on the internet, and the internet now is going to look for somebody who might be compatible with you, who's somebody who might be a good match for you in romance, right? So we're looking to see here if this this sum could actually work out or not. So how do we look for compatibility? We check the order of this matrix first. This is a 2 by 2 matrix. But what is the order of this matrix? It's a different shape. How much rows does it have? It has 2 rows. And how much columns? So it's 2 rows by 1 column. Okay, so far, if you're getting lost, please stop me and ask me any question, okay? All right, so all I did here was write out the order of the matrix. All right, now the reason why I write out the order of the matrix is to check for compatibility, to see if they can work out. How do you know if they could work out? They can work out if these two inner numbers are the same. So if I have, these are the outside numbers and these are the inside numbers. Out of this line of numbers, we'll call these the outside ones and the inside ones. As long as these two inside ones are the same, then we can work it out. 2 times, right? So what we do next is we write a blank matrix. I'll explain. Basically, if we multiply these two, what kind of matrix am I going to get? Am I going to get a fat matrix or a skinny one? What order of matrix will I get? What shape is the answer going to be? The answer is going to be a 2 by 1 matrix. 2 by 1. The outside numbers is what you write down here. The inside numbers, which were the same, you just delete them. Are we clear on that? So what we are doing here is we're trying to predict what the child going to look like. Okay, what is child going to look like? It's going to have 2 rows. 1, 2 is going to have 2 rows, but it's only going to have 1 column. So I'm going to just draw a circle which represents a number. I have a top number and I'll have a below number. That's it. I'm going to have 2 rows. So one number here and one number here, 1 column. So I'm not sure what number it's going to be as yet, but I've predicted that when I multiply this fat one and this skinny one are going to get a skinny child by using this green marker part. Okay, the next thing I do is, and multiply matrices is one of the hardest things you'd possibly do in maths. Multiply matrices and simultaneous equations, two of the hardest things that you could do. So try and follow my method. What I do next is I have a blank one here. I didn't write in any answers here as yet, but what I'm going to write in here is I'm going to let me use a different color marker to guide you. I'll use a brown marker. What I'm going to write in here is the address. And the address here for this was like just like your homework before. What row is this? Row 1 or row 2? It says row 1. And what column is it? Well, we only have one column, so it must be column 1. And what's the address of this this spot? This is row 2, but it's still column 1. Okay, so far you're familiar that that was like in your homework which you was doing in the past, right? Good. Stop me if you have any questions. Okay, what we do next is you must think row by column. Remember, that is a very popular phrase whenever we talk about matrices. Think row by column. And I'll explain what we do now. I'm going to write the answer here, or the calculation for the answer here. I'm making a very big space so that I could explain what I'm doing. To get this answer here, I need to multiply the first row here. I need to multiply the first row to the first column of the next matrix. We take the row from one matrix and we multiply it to the column of the other matrix. Let me recap. Row 1 means we take row 1 here and we're going to multiply it to column 1. I'll write it in red ink what we get. This is what we do. 1 times 5. Okay, 1 multiplied to the 5. And then we're going to add it to 4 multiplied to the minus 2. Okay, let's just see how we do that. The first numbers multiply, and then the second numbers multiply. Okay, and whatever answer you get from the first set, you add it to the answer of the second set. What I like to do to keep track of my parts, I like to put circles in it. So I know that the first part is 1 times 5. And then I'm adding it to the next part, which is 4 times minus 2. And I know that how when I work out all of this, when I work out all of that, I will get one number. And that one number is going to be here. That's my one number on top. Okay. Let's look at how this here will guide you on what to multiply. Better use another color ink. I'll use purple for row 2, column 1. I'm looking for row 2 of the first matrix. And I have to multiply row 2 to column 1 to get the answer here. So this here is column 1. So it's the same column that we used before, but it's a different row we use in here. Now what we do, I think I will use purple to write this answer. We multiply the first two numbers and then we add it to the next two numbers multiplied. So it's going to be 3 times 5, we write down first. And then we're going to add that answer to the next 2 times minus 2. 2 times minus 2. I like to circle my pieces so that I am going to not get mixed up with the different parts to work out. I'm taking the first two numbers, multiplying, and then I'm adding it to the next two numbers. How I know which numbers to add and which numbers to times and so on, I use the address as my guide. I take row 2 of the first, multiply to column 1 of the next matrix. To me, this here is a sure way of never getting mixed up or doing the wrong thing. That way, I will never ever make a mistake. As long as I remember my address, I will choose the correct numbers to multiply and add. Now, we try and simplify this. And I would recommend that you do it in very careful small steps. 1 times 5 is 5. Add 4 times minus 2 is a minus 8. So far, you okay with that? That should be, when I work out that, I get 5. When I work out 4 times minus 2, I get minus 8. I'll bring down the plus sign. That will give me my number on top. I ain't working it out as yet. I'm going in small, safe little steps. 3 times 5 is 15. Bring down the plus sign. 2 times minus 2 is a minus 4. 3 times 5, 15. Bring down the plus. 2 times minus 2, minus 4. I like to circle my things so that I don't mix up the numbers. Now we go back, continue again. What is 5 add minus 8? That'll turn out to be 5 take away 8. Go up 5, go down 8. You will end up at minus 3. That's your first number. That's your number on top. And the number below, 15 plus minus 4 will turn into 15. Take away 4. And 15 take away 4 is 11. We clear on that? That's how the 5 plus 8 gives you that number here. And the 15 plus minus, the 5 plus minus 8 gives you minus 3. 15 plus minus 4 gives you that.